see as receivers that we might think have a good chance of, get to the house. Yeah. So one of those plays was the one I scored on. I felt that had a good chance, especially when it ran early in the game. I knew I had it. So when they called it back, I was just it was just great coaching, great play calling, and great execution.
One of the quick follow. But do you come back to the sideline and go, hey, you talk to anybody? Hey, let's go back to this one. Y'all have those conversations that something could be that, you know what I mean? That maybe you'll get back to it. Go ahead.
I think that's what makes Coach Day such a great head coach, is that he's always communicating with everyone on the team, the receivers, the quarterbacks, just to know what kind of looks they're getting, know what we can do, can't do. So in that aspect, we're really on the same page with everything, so that when we go out there, we know what we're getting and we know what we can come back to.
Think the level of frustration at halftime when you have the ball 4 times in the red zone and don't cash in touchdowns?
There can only be so much frustration. You got to move on. We knew those plays in the first half were done. There's nothing we can do about them. We came out in the second half with an expectation to execute at a higher level than we did, and I think we did do that. CJ really turned it up. So did the rest of the offense. The blocking got tighter. The routes were crisper, cleaner. Catching was better. So just overall being able to flip that switch is something that we've been working on, and something that can be a great attribute to have.
And how beneficial do you think it'll be to go against the defense that is still fundamentally sound, makes you earn everything down the stretch?
Yeah, makes us not press to make plays, makes us not rush, helps us stay on schedule. The run game is key, and it's something that you have to stick to. So when they're kind of playing deep safeties and not letting you have the deep passes like we're used to, you got to really run it, get the safeties down low and weak. You got to execute on the perimeter. We didn't do an amazing job of blocking on the perimeter as wide receivers today, so that's something we're going to look forward to improving on. But just being able to stay on schedule and not get frustrated and press for big plays.
What kind of information are you guys as players relaying to the coaching staff between drives or during timeouts as you're all trying to kind of find the answer to what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, mostly it's coverages, leverages, and call it for what it is, just skill that we see out there. So if we feel like, there's not really any moments that we don't feel like we have a mismatch. But if we see something sticking out like a sore thumb, we're going to alert the coaching staff, especially when it comes to coverages and leverages.
Are those calm conversations? Like we were just talking about the frustration that can build sometimes when you're trying to figure out, is everyone usually pretty level-headed, or can it get contentious, heated, passionate at times?
Yeah, I feel like it's very level-headed, and that's something I'm very appreciative for our coaching staff. Coach Hart, Coach Day, they may blow up over a play, but they flush it down the toilet the next thing, and then they're talking to you on the bench. It's a cool conversation, a calm conversation, something that you're able to relay back and forth and have that dialogue with the coaches. So that's something I'm really grateful for.
What did you see from Jackson today, and just did you see any frustration from him that he wasn't able to do more?
He always wants to do more. He loves playing football. That's what makes him such a great player, but he's a great teammate at the same time. So even though he wasn't on the field as much as he had liked, I think it was a good step for him just to be able to get his feet wet again. And he supported us great. He's a great guy to have on your team.
What was that halftime speech like? Just settling for field goals in the first half, wanting to turn those into touchdowns for the second half. Can you say what Coach Day said to you guys at the half?
I wouldn't say Coach Day said too much. It was more the players. I think that's what makes us special in a way, that we have such great leaders on this team who are able to turn around a team like that. We have CJ. All the linemen had a word, so we were able to flip it. And then once we got the play calling from Coach Day, we were good to go.
Did you see anything on film from Iowa's defense that you've seen different today?
Yeah, I would say we expected more cover 4 quarters. They played a lot of cover 3. They played a little bit of man, but kind of saw how that went in the second half. So.
You guys obviously are at the start of this second half push. There's obviously going to be challenges. This is just one next week at Penn State. I know you haven't gone, but I'm sure you've heard about. What are you guys expecting going forward with that game and then just kind of the second half push?
Yeah, all our minds are focused on Penn State right now. We have a feeling this is going to be our hardest game of the season. And just playing in Happy Valley, that's a place that's traditionally known to be a hard game to win. No matter what their rank is at the time, it's always going to be a battle. So playing on the road is definitely different than playing at home. So we're gonna have a good week of practice. we're gonna prepare and execute the plays the right way and be able to go over there and take the dub.
Like Ryan said, sometimes it's hard, especially that first half, and you guys are playing in plus territory so much. It's hard to get into a rhythm because your first 20 or so plays are scripted for long drives. Do you feel like maybe it was hard for you guys to get in a rhythm because you were playing on plus territory the whole first half?
I would say playing in that area, we have so many playmakers that we just know we want to make the big play right away, and that's not always the way that it works out. So we have to be able to run the ball and stay consistent in that aspect. I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw a stat that if you get 3 yards on the first play of a drive, you have like a super high chance of scoring a touchdown and stuff like that. So just being able to stay on schedule in that aspect and run the ball with discipline is something huge that we're focusing on.
You guys were in the red zone a lot. You scored all those, not just weren't all touchdowns. Ryan said you're happy to get points, but you want touchdowns, not field goals.
Yeah,
what do you have to do to tighten that up?
It just comes down to execution. Every 10 players can do their job on a play, but if one doesn't, then the play can be ruined. So just firing on all cylinders and all phases of the game is something that's really big, and staying on schedule and having trust in the players that are next to you.
Do you feel that the extra time off is what got you slower started?
I wouldn't say so. The guys did a good job of taking care of their bodies. Even in the bye week, we had 3 practices. They were good practices. We came back Tuesday, Wednesday, had great practices as well. So, there's games don't always start off the way you expect them to. But battling that adversity is something that, we feel like we've trained for. You can't say too much about the slow start, but just happy we picked it up. So that was our main thing. But at the end of the day, we had what we feel as the offense was probably our worst game of the year, and we won by 44 points. So just being able to build on this definitely sets up the future for what looks scary for other teams.
I'm sure you're describing it in a way that reminds us of what I'm saying. If you guys are frustrated, but also maybe know how good it can be, and did become in this game. How will you react to that? How did you guys react to that maybe in the locker room afterwards?
Yeah, we just got it going. We realized this isn't like who we are, how we play, and the only thing I was counting on is us to be off our game. So we just really took hold of the reins at halftime and came out the second half. Had a little trouble on the first drive, but then got right back locked in, and you guys saw what happened.
Going off that, what can you say about CJ's resiliency? We saw the pick 6 against Michigan State, bounced back, didn't really have a bad play after that. Second half interception, then he goes 7 for 7, 3 touchdowns. What do you see from him in the huddle when he comes back from maybe a play that he wanted back?
Yeah, I feel like one of CJ's best attributes is his mental fortitude. Like nothing really gets to him. Like sure, he's upset that he threw that pick, and he had a moment for a second, but then he got right back like it never happened. And then, like you said, he went 7 for 7. So just being able to bounce back like that is something I've never seen personally from a player. That's something that I struggled with. I know a lot of guys struggled with in the past, but CJ is just he's in a league of his own in that aspect.
Walk me through that touchdown over the shoulder throw, end zone. It seemed like it was just the perfect spot for it.
Yeah, we had called that play earlier in the game, on the other side of the field in the red zone, but I didn't run the full route, so I told the coaches that. They were very responsive. They knew that I might have that look coming again, so we ran in and ended up being a touchdown, perfect pass by CJ.
Was Jackson frustrated at all with it? I'm sure he wanted to play more than he got to today, and we'll figure out exactly what that means later on. What was he like on the sideline after that?
Yeah, Jackson is a great teammate, so even if he's not playing, he's going to support all of us. But that competitor in him, he wants to play. Obviously, you can see it in his eyes. So just knowing how much of a competitive person he is, and that mixed with his elite skill set, it's going to be really fun to have him back. So just praying for a speedy recovery for him. He's looking good strength-wise, range of motion-wise, so just getting him ready to play in the next game.
Emeka, is it kind of unfair what people expect out of CJ? I mean, if you look around the country, most places would love to have a quarterback who completes 67% of his passes for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but yet the narrative is sort of that he had a rough day, right?
Yeah.
Is it fair what people expect from him, or is that just kind of what he's earned?
I would say the way I would put it is that CJ expects even more out of himself. So He has super high expectations. That's what makes him so great. He's a perfectionist, and he's always been that way. So no matter what the expectations people have for him, he's always going to hold himself to a higher standard. So he knows what type of day he had, and I still personally think he's a front runner for the Heisman. I don't see a guy topping him, but CJ is just a one-of-a-kind player.
What does it say about him and the confidence he has? He throws the interception in the second half. The ball that he threw to you down the seam was a risky throw. I mean, he had to drop that perfectly, and he did. And what does it say about just the mindset that he has?
To be able to play with that kind of confidence, that's another special attribute that he has, and it makes a quarterback really dangerous. A lot of guys don't make that throw like he made to me in that seam, but he did, and he placed it perfectly. So that's just a testament to him and his work ethic and just his mental aspect of the game.
How do you see that? Because you almost got your head knocked off on that play, and then you stopped on a dime. How do you see that?
I knew what coverage they were in. I knew it was 3, and normally he's gonna open to the speed side where the slot is, and I was playing slot at the time. So when I got down the seam, I knew there'd be a little shot in there that CJ was gonna rip because I just know the type of quarterback he is and the chemistry he has. So I was expecting that ball, and out of the corner of my eye, I seen the safety running down on me. Yeah, so I stopped. Thought I was going to spin out of it. Still a little mad about that one.